So my name is Maryann Velez. I am 48 years old, originally from New Jersey. I'm up in Pennsylvania approximately 13, 14 years. My husband was originally residing in Lackawanna County. We moved to Luzerne County in 2014. We bought a home in Duryea, which is where he was born and raised. And I absolutely fell in love with Duryea, and I have fallen in love with Luzerne County. The people are quite extraordinary, and what I found to be commonplace was their cries for help. So we're looking at a lot of lower socioeconomic incomes where families are struggling to pay their bills or to put food on the table or buy medicine for their families, whatever the case might be. And I just, I'm a lifelong advocate, and I am a lifelong activist, and I'm always rooting for the underdog. Wherever I see a human being suffering, I step in and do what I can to lift them up any way I can. I've worked in shelters in the past, and I most recently started my own nonprofit where we have implemented a successful food and clothing program. We have partnered with Roots Place in Wilkes-Barre. We help offset their needs when we're able to. And to date, with our Basket of Cheer program, we have helped 1,005 families throughout Luzerne County. That is whether we were supplying them with food, toiletries, cleaning supplies, or perishable foods such as milk and meat, things along that line that they can't get at a food bank. So when it came time for me to seriously make a decision about running for Luzerne County Council, the answer was pretty easy. I knew that we needed people who were in charge of making those policies, extending help when it's needed, somebody who was really going to advocate for the people, and that was my reason for running. I am not running for Luzerne County Council because I'm power hungry. It's obviously not for the money with an $8,000 salary, which in all honesty, I've spoken with my husband, and we both agreed that the money could be utilized to be implemented back into a community program, which is what I intend to do with my salary if I should win the election. I truly hope once I win the county council race, and it's a little presumptuous, but it's always good to be positive, that I will be able to advocate for the working class here in Luzerne County. I've spoken to seniors, I've spoken to vets, families, individuals, and their number one question is, why can we not get any help? Why is nobody out there advocating for us? Where do we go when we need help? And that is what I want to be able to offer them, an opportunity to be lifted up out of poverty and successfully move forward in their life.
What specifically on the county level, I mean, obviously there are various organizations in the county, both governmental, non-governmental, that extend help to people who need it. What can you do within county government as a member of county council specifically in that direction?
We could look at the overall budget to begin with. My organization has spent the last 18 months researching various municipal budgets as well as the county budget. We've also researched other sectors as far as the school boards are concerned, as far as the prison is concerned, to see where the taxes are being allocated, where we could take some of the money and maybe reallocate it to another sector to help offset those needs. I think it's absolutely infuriating when taxpayers turn to their local government and ask for help, and their answer is, it's a line item on the budget, we're taking care of it. Well, if that was the truth, then they would not be there asking for help. So I think if we seriously take a look at the overall budget, I am sure we can find money to reallocate into the sectors that truly need the help at this time.
Okay. What would those sectors be? I mean, like, what
Well, we're
kind of
looking at-
other certain programs
Well, we're
that the
looking
county
at,
has that you think are underfunded?
oh, they're completely underfunded. We have
Well, which
a
ones?
huge mental health population here in Luzerne County. We have a huge homeless population in Luzerne County. We have families who are currently being evicted from their apartments and or homes that they're renting from non-existent landlords, keep in mind, because the landlords know once they are evicted, they could bring in new tenants, charge a higher rate, and make more money off of their property. I don't begrudge anybody who tries to earn a living, and nor do I begrudge any landlord who has to deal with some really horrible tenants. I've heard the stories, but these are really good people who have families who are working and now are being forced out because the landlords know they can get more money bringing new tenants in. So there are a lot of areas in Luzerne County that need help. And I truly believe if we look through the budget, we can find money to reallocate into those sectors. I think the next few months are going to be extremely difficult for some of these families. I truly believe we're moving into a housing crisis because there's not enough affordable housing within Luzerne County. And I do think that the local municipality governments, as well as the county council, could put their heads together and help the taxpayers. I mean, this is what they were elected to do. So I think if we all put our heads together, we can absolutely make that happen.
Don't want to grill you about this too much until you get elected, but just so you know, what I keep hearing from county officials is a lot of the funding for these programs you're talking about is passed through state and federal funding from the human services. So not very much of that is actual funds that's raised in the county's general budget through, tax revenue or whatnot.
That is true, but I will say this for the record, that there is significant grant funding that is out there for every municipality as well as the county government. Significant. I'm talking about millions of dollars. I've spoken with with various directors coming from different grant departments, whether it be economic development, agricultural development, and there is millions of dollars available. We just need to apply for the funding. Last year, I'll go back, 2019, there was $32 million approximately that was available in grant funding. Luzerne County only received a very small portion of that because nobody applied for it. The money is there, gentlemen. We can absolutely make this happen.
I don't know if you mentioned it or I missed it. What's the name of your nonprofit?
My nonprofit is United NEPA Alliance. We're very new. We are all volunteer based, so I do not get a salary for running my organization, but it is absolutely one of the most rewarding jobs I've had to date. We do a lot of great things in the community.
Have you attended any county council meetings?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that I've seen your name on the Zoom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
But you haven't spoken in public comment that I can recall.
No, I have not. I have just been sitting, listening, learning. I'm new to the political game. So there's a lot that I have to learn. I'm sure my first year in, it'll be a great experience and, kind of help me become acquainted with how politics work in Luzerne County. But no, I have not taken part in a public forum or need any public comments in regard to how things are being currently handled with the current council members. And I really don't think it would make a difference in all actuality. There are 11 members sitting up there, and I'd like to say I'm sure that they do the best that they can. And I hope that they work, well together, and at the end of the day, their main focus is that of the taxpayer. That should be the only thing that they're basing their decisions on. How can we improve their lives?
One of the major questions that will face the council after the election is this ongoing search for a county manager. What would you, as a member of council, be looking for in a county manager?
Credentials. I think it's extremely important. This is regardless of what position anybody is being hired for. You know, sometimes it's not all about education, sometimes it's about life experiences. I've met quite a few people in my lifetime who did not have a college degree, and they were some of the most intelligent people and well-articulated people I've ever met. But when we're talking about a county level position where you are overseeing so many different facets of the government, I truly believe that you should have a solid background so you can do the best job that you possibly can do. If we put somebody in there because he's Joe Schmo's brother and really has no knowledge of what it's like to run the county government, we're wasting money. Absolutely wasting money. So credentials is the utmost importance.
Would you be looking for someone with a legal background, a business background, someone who's been an administrator in government before?
I think that would be the best line to move into, because then he would be she would be very well versed. Having a political background would absolutely strengthen their position, but I believe a business owner may also bring some different points of view to the county government. So again, it would really, you would have to look over their resumes, you would have to look at their credentials, research them, you check out their references, you look to see, they were, well admired here or whatever the case might be, and you should base your decision off of facts.
One of the kind of ongoing controversies right now, I'm sure you're aware of it, is this question of the district attorney's election and whether it should be held in November, which kind of pitted the DA and the council on one hand, and then they sued the Board of Elections.
They did.
What do you think about that decision? And if you were then sitting at that table, what would you have done?
From what I understand, and this was just from conversations and some information that was passed on to me, it seems to be commonplace if you are in a position and you're running for another position that you must step down in order to run for that position. So I understood some of the arguments. They thought it was important that Stephanie Salavanta step down so she could continue to run for judge. And Singleducci, who I've met, he seems to be a good guy, moved up, because now there is a vacancy, and there was some question as to if he should be elected in. I do not see a problem with him being moved to 2022. I do not. He could remain DA, interim DA, until that election. I don't see the problem in that. I think he did a great job under Salavantis. I think he's doing a great job right now, and let's let him stay where he is. Let's let the voters make that determination in 2022, and move on from there.
Some people have suggested the county charter, now it's been just about 10 years since home rule took effect. The county charter is not perfect and should be amended.
I believe so.
Can you tell us how you would amend it?
I cannot. I have thought about this question long and hard because I had a feeling it was one of them that you were going to ask, and I cannot. I think, as with any resolution or law or charter, it should be updated after a certain period of time because things change within the facet of government, and it should be tweaked just a little bit. But how, I couldn't answer that question right now until I sat down with the county council members and we collaborated on what we thought would be best, in the best direction to move the county overall.
Well, here's one example. Some people think that council members, or at least some of the council members, should be elected by districts or regions, as opposed to at large throughout the whole county. Do you have any thoughts on that?
No, I think if you're a county government, then you should be elected by all of the constituents throughout the county. If you're running for a municipal position, then absolutely you are voted in by that particular municipality. If this is a countywide government, then countywide, the vote should come in.
I know you have been active in kind of the anti-rain tax movement. Can you tell us, what your opposition is to the rain tax and
Yes.
what the county might do? I think there was discussion on the county level of pursuing legal action. I'm not sure that ever went anywhere, but.
Well, there were groups of residents that were putting together that legal avenue, and no, it did not go anywhere, unfortunately. And there was quite a penny spent on those legal funds. First, I believe that the rain tax is unconstitutional, and secondly, we did not need to be taxed when there was grant money that could have paid for it. If you notice, there are a few areas within Luzerne County that are not obligated to pay the rain tax, and that is because they used grant funding.
You think there would have been grant funding to cover the entire amount that's collected by the...
Yes, there is grant funding that would have covered the entire county. I have already looked into it, yes, absolutely.
Well, that's a pretty high dollar amount. Yeah.
Oh, yes, it absolutely is a pretty high dollar amount, but that grant funding is available to any county who is looking to offset their cost to clean up the waterways. Yes, it is there.
The county council has approved, I've been covering the council for a little more than 4 years now, and in that time they've approved quite a few tax abatement programs for developers, mainly of warehouses and industrial developments. They've approved alertas and 1 or 2 KOZs, and as far as I know, they have not rejected any application for tax abatement. Do you have any thoughts on whether that's a good idea in general?
Point blank, everybody should pay their fair share. Everybody. If we want to see Luzerne County thrive, we need to make sure everybody pays their fair share. When we allow corporations or warehouses to come into our area and sit 10 years tax-free, there is a high probability that that said corporation or warehouse within 9 years will close up and move to another area to sit for another 10 years tax-free. I don't know how much support I would receive if I were to vote no. I would then make a suggestion. The corporations or warehouse that you are allowing to come into our area and sit 10 years tax-free should be held to a certain degree of accountability. So if you do not remain after the 10 years and continue to produce revenue for our county, you should be held accountable for that and be mandated to repay that 10 years that you just sat for tax-free. That would not only solidify the jobs that they created, it would help them remain in our area, but their tax revenue would increase our revenue here in Luzerne County. I believe that would be very fair, extremely fair to do, because I truly do not believe that I would have a lot of people voting with me to stop them from coming in. So I would absolutely be willing to come to some sort of bargaining agreement that would establish a trust and continue to build on Luzerne County.
How do you think the county and council in particular has handled some of the problems with children and youth with the resignation of the executive director and the state alleging that hundreds of cases went unexamined?
This is a touchy subject, and I'm going to explain why. As an elected official, whether it's municipal level, county level, state level, I think our children should be at the forefront of every decision we make. They're our most vulnerable. They are our most innocent. They are the future of Luzerne County. If we do not do everything that we need to do to ensure their safety, then we have failed them on every level. Most of these families lived through the Kids for Cash scheme. Some of these families were those children that were imprisoned because of the Kids for Cash scheme. And now they're watching their own children's lives be put in jeopardy due to negligence and lack of oversight. I think any elected official who allows that to happen underneath them should have to answer as to why. Where were the cracks? How did they break open again? How is this not caught sooner? And allow them to answer those questions. If I were to be sitting on county council and this happened on my watch, I would hope every single citizen would come and ask me, how could you let this happen again? And I should be forced to answer that answer because I failed them.
Based on your comments today, I think it would be fair to say that from the outside, it looks like you are a social progressive, but somewhat of a fiscal conservative. Would you say that's a fair assessment?
I think that's an extremely fair assessment, but I don't like labels, and I'll explain why. I'm not running because I'm a politician. I'm running because I truly want to represent the people. So regardless if I was a Democrat or Republican, at the end of the day, the only thing that should matter is how am I going to be representing the constituents. I am fiscally responsible. I was a single mother for a long time. There was one income coming into my house. I had to make sure every penny was accounted for. And I think I did a pretty good job. We went on vacation every year. She always had clothes on her back, food on the table, thank God. And she was brought up to be fiscally responsible herself, God bless. And that is some of the experience I will be bringing to the table. Do I come from a socialist standpoint? I don't know if wanting to help my fellow human being is me being a socialist. I think that's just me being a human being. When I see somebody who needs a hand up, I believe it is our jobs to make sure somebody is there to give them a hand up, not a handout. I'm not looking to give crutches to anybody. I am looking to empower them, to raise them up out of poverty and put them on a good path in life so our county can overall be completely successful.